This is Prince Kamal Kiran, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Wits Warangal. Welcome to Witsconnect. And today we are going to discuss about direct and indirect training. And in our previous session, we have been discussed about surveying and what are the instruments going to be used in surveying. And in this class, we are going to discuss about direct and indirect training. And first, we have let us learn about what you mean by ranging. Coming to the ranging, the process of measuring the distance between two stations is known as ranging. Here in ranging, we are going to have two different types of rangings. Let us see that one. What do you mean by ranging? Ranging is of two types. First one is direct ranging and second one is indirect ranging. And now let us discuss about direct ranging and indirect ranging. What do you mean by direct ranging and what do you mean by indirect ranging? Here, when two stations on opposite sides, that means here this is ground level and this is station A and this is station B. We want to measure the distance between these two stations. What is the distance to be measured? What is the distance in between these two stations? Now here on a plane surface, on a plane ground, we can measure the distance very easily. Here no obstacles are present, so we can measure it easily. And when there is no obstacle and when two stations are intervisible to each other, in that situation we are going to perform direct ranging. And if there is any obstacle in between these two stations, so that A is not visible to B and B is not visible to A, in that situation we are going to perform indirect ranging. That means that what do you mean by direct ranging means when two stations are intervisible to each other, then it is called as direct ranging, and when two stations are not intervisible to each other, then we call it as indirect ranging. Here now let us see the direct ranging. And in ranging, we are going to establish the intermediate stations for easy access or for the easy measurement of distance between two points. For example, here we can see A and B are the two stations. I want to measure the distance between A and B. Here, what I am going to do is, on a plane surface, on a plane ground, we are going to measure this one. No obstacles is present in this one. Now, what I am going to do is, I am going to establish few more intermediate stations, C, D and many. I am going to install or fix these stations so that I can measure the distance easily. How I can measure? For example, if we go and see in the top view, here there is station A and here it is station B, and here I want to measure the distance between these two stations. What I am going to do is, I am going to fix the intermediate stations like this. After fixing, I am going to name them C, D like this, and I am going to fix, first I am going to fix the stations at the end points, that is at A and at B. Then two persons are going to stand at station A and station B, and remaining two persons, first I am going to fix the station C like this. I will ask the person who is standing at B to stand at a distance of 1 meter and fix the ranging rod over here, and another person standing at A, he is going to fix another ranging rod at A, and he is going to observe station C so that A, C and B are in a same line, and then another station D is fixed over there in the center. So now these four stations, these two are the main stations, A and B, and C and D are intermediate stations. Why we are going to fix the intermediate stations? What is the purpose of providing intermediate stations? Why? Because if the distance from, for example, let us consider the distance is around 100 meters from A to B, and the chain available here is around 20 meters chain is available with us, and here what I am going to do is, I am going to start the surveying or measure the distance from A, and I will go move up to B. And in this process, I cannot move the chain in a straight path like this. So due to that one, we are going to measure like this, we cannot measure in a straight line. So due to that one, we are going to obtain some error. So to avoid that one, to minimize that one, what we are going to do is we are going to fix the intermediate stations so that the total length is splitted into number of parts, and we can measure the distance from one part to another, from A to C, C to D, D to B easily, so that we can make a straight line. We can measure the distance between A and B in a straight line. This is the direct training. And coming to the indirect training, what do you mean by indirect training? When there is any obstacle in between station A and station B, then we are going to perform indirect training. Here, for example, this is the one. There is a hill in between these two stations, station A and station B. I cannot see station B from A, and I cannot see station A from B. These two stations are not intervisible to each other. Now, how I can perform the survey? Here, I want to fix a few more stations, intermediate stations C and D over here, and I want to measure the distance. For this one, let us see in the top view. For example, this is station A and this is station B, and there is an obstacle like this, and I cannot see what is these two stations from one another. And what I am going to do is I am going to fix two stations C and D here, and what I am going to do is I am going to side from station A to station D, and I ask station C to move into the line AD. Then it comes into a new position C1. Now A, C1 and D are in a straight line. Then after, what I am going to do is from B I am going to side to C1 like this. And here again I ask D to move into the line C dash C1B. Here what happens? D moves into a new station, new position. It is D1. And again, what I am going to do is from A, again I am going to side to D1, and I ask C1 to move into the line. Now this will be C2. A, C2 and D1 are in a straight line. Again, from B to C2, again I ask D2 to move to a new position D2. And at last, I am going to do this interpolation until C3 D3. I am going to move these stations until A, C3, D3 and B comes into a straight line, so that I can fix these four stations in a single line, and then after I can measure the distance between these 4 points. This is known as indirect ranging. Once again, we will be discussing what do you mean by direct ranging and indirect ranging. When two stations are visible to each other, then it is called as direct ranging, and when two stations are not intervisible to each other, it is known as indirect ranging. Here, what are the instruments we are going to use for doing this ranging is, first one, chain or tape, ranging rods, these are the instruments which we are going to use for doing this ranging, and it requires around 4 to 5 members for doing. It requires 4 members for indirect ranging and around 4 to 5 members in direct ranging, and we can do this one in our classes. Okay, thank you.